One ordinary evening, nothing unusual, no warning, no countdown, and then everything stops. Every light, every screen, every sound. Your phone is dead. Your refrigerator is silent. You walk outside and every single house on your street is dark. You try your car. Nothing. Your neighbor is standing in his driveway staring back at you. Neither of you says a word, because neither of you has any idea what just happened. That hollow feeling in your chest right now, that is not panic. That is your body recognizing that the rules just changed, and what you choose to do in the next few hours will determine whether your family is okay or whether you become a cautionary story nobody ever gets to tell, because the infrastructure that records those stories is offline too. Today, we are going through 15 steps, not talking points, not general advice, 15 actions you take immediately, in order, without hesitation, after an electromagnetic pulse event. Most people around you will be frozen. They will be staring at dead devices and waiting for someone else to fix it. You will not be waiting. You will already be moving. Get a pen and a piece of paper before we go any further. Not your phone's notes app, an actual pen and actual paper. Because if we are talking about the scenario where all electronics fail, your phone may already be part of the problem. This is my channel. We cover the scenarios that most people are too comfortable to think about. If you are new here, subscribe and turn on notifications. If you have been here before, let us get into it. Part 1 covers the first 60 minutes. What you do right now matters more than anything that follows. Step 1. Before you do anything else, figure out what you are actually dealing with. This is where most people waste the most valuable time they have. They grab a dead device and shake it. They run to the store without knowing why. They stand outside and wait for an explanation that is not coming. Every second spent reacting without thinking is a second you cannot get back. Not every power outage is an electromagnetic pulse. That needs to be said clearly. Most of the time, when your lights go out, it is a transformer failure, a car accident involving a utility pole, or a regional grid issue. The statistics strongly favor a mundane explanation, but an electromagnetic pulse leaves behind a very specific pattern of evidence that is impossible to fake once you know what you are looking for. Step outside first. Look at every house on your block. Is the darkness total and uniform? That rules out isolated outages. Now look at the road. Are vehicles moving normally, or are cars sitting in lanes with drivers standing outside them confused? Try a basic battery-powered flashlight from your drawer. Does it turn on? Grab a portable radio. Does it power up at all? Here is the line that separates a normal blackout from something categorically different. A standard grid failure cuts your power connection. It does not kill a battery sitting in your nightstand that has never touched the grid. An electromagnetic pulse does. If standalone battery-powered devices are dead, devices with zero connection to any power line, you are not dealing with a typical outage. That changes everything about how you respond. Check multiple vehicles on your street. Modern cars run on dozens of electronic control systems managing fuel, brakes, steering, and ignition. One dead car might just be a broken car. 6 simultaneously dead vehicles with no prior warning is confirmation. That is not coincidence. That is a pattern. Pay attention to sound as well. Total absence of mechanical noise, no sirens, no generators, no aircraft hum, is itself a data point. If emergency services are offline or overwhelmed, you will hear nothing. That silence tells you the scope. Once you see dead batteries, dead vehicles, dead grid, and no weather or infrastructure explanation for any of it, stop questioning and start executing. The clock has already started. Step 2. Water. You probably have about 30 minutes. This is the step that almost nobody prioritizes in the opening minutes of a crisis, and it is also the step that matters most. Your body can survive weeks without food. It cannot survive 3 days without water. Under physical and psychological stress, which is precisely what a crisis demands of you, that window shrinks even faster. And here's the part that most people have genuinely never considered. Your tap water does not appear by magic. It is driven to your faucet by electric pumps. The treatment plants that make it safe to drink run on grid power. Every component of your municipal water system requires electricity. You just lost all of it. Depending on your location and infrastructure, residual pipe pressure gives you somewhere between 30 minutes and 90 minutes of running water. Do not bet on having the full 90. Move as if you have 30.
The moment you confirm this is a serious event, go to every faucet in your home and turn it on. Fill everything that holds liquid: bottles, pots, mixing bowls, buckets, large containers, anything that does not leak. Then go to your bathtub, plug the drain, and fill it completely. A standard bathtub holds between 40 and 80 gallons. That is days of survival water for a small household when rationed properly. Do not stop to have a conversation about what is happening. Do not take a moment to comfort the kids yet. Do not neatly organize the containers. Fill now, sort later. Every second you spend talking instead of filling is a second closer to dry pipes that will not produce another drop until the grid returns. In a serious electromagnetic pulse scenario, that could be months away. Step 3. Your refrigerator is now a countdown clock. Once your water situation is handled, turn your attention to food immediately. Everything in your refrigerator will begin spoiling within 4 hours. Your freezer is more forgiving. With the door kept shut, frozen food stays safe for 24 to 48 hours. But that window is not permanent and it will not extend itself. Most people make the mistake of thinking they will deal with food later. Later arrives and their proteins have turned, their dairy has gone sour, they have lost calories they are going to need. Open your refrigerator and assess what spoils fastest. Dairy, cooked leftovers, cut produce, deli meats. Eat those now or cook them immediately. If your gas stove still functions, use it. If you have a propane grill or a charcoal setup, fire it up and cook everything you can while you still have the means to do it. Your freezer is a different calculation entirely. Keep it closed. Every time that door opens, cold air escapes and your spoilage window shrinks. If you have cold packs inside, consolidate them. If you are dealing with this in winter and temperatures outside are below freezing, move frozen goods to an unheated garage or outdoors. Cold weather just became an asset. The deeper purpose of this step goes beyond saving a few meals. You need to know exactly what your total food supply looks like, because every calculation you make later depends on accurate numbers. Start building that picture now. Part 2. Securing your resources and establishing communication. Step 4. Physical cash is the only currency that still works. This surprises people in the moment, but it should not. Every digital payment system on the planet just went offline. Credit cards are pieces of plastic. Debit cards are useless. Mobile payment apps, bank transfers, and ATMs all require electronic infrastructure that no longer exists. The only thing that functions as a medium of exchange in the immediate aftermath is physical money in your hand. And here is the window that closes faster than most people realize. In the first hours and early days after a major grid event, before the full social reality sets in, cash still carries psychological weight. People will still accept dollars because the habit of money has not yet broken down. That window does not last. Eventually, barter replaces it. But in those early days, cash is real leverage. Go through your entire home right now. Check your wallet, your nightstand, coat pockets, that bowl of coins on the counter, any emergency savings tucked away somewhere. Gather everything, count it, know your number. Here is the detail that separates prepared people from everyone else. Small bills are dramatically more useful than large ones. If you show up somewhere trying to buy water with a $100 bill, the seller almost certainly cannot make change, and they are not extending credit to a stranger when trust is disappearing by the hour. Keep 20s, 10s, and 5s on hand. Keep that cash organized, keep it accessible, and absolutely keep it out of sight. Displaying resources in a destabilized environment is not just unwise, it is dangerous. Step 5. Your vehicle may be an asset, or it may be a 2-ton obstacle. Do not touch the ignition until you know which one it is. Modern vehicles are essentially networked computers that also happen to move. Electronic modules manage fuel injection, transmission systems, braking, steering, and emissions. Those systems are vulnerable to electromagnetic interference. If your vehicle was running or had active electronics at the moment of the event, there is a real possibility those modules were damaged. But if the car was completely off and parked, the metal body provides partial natural shielding for the electronics inside. The odds of survival are meaningfully better in that case. Do not just turn the key and hope. Disconnect the battery first. This protects residual electronics from any secondary electromagnetic energy still in the environment. It also buys you time to assess, rather than potentially destroying a control module on your first attempt. Consider your fuel as well.
Whatever is in your tank right now is your entire transportation budget until the grid returns. Gas stations run on electric pumps. No grid means no fuel dispensing. The habit of keeping your tank at or about half full is not a minor convenience tip. In a scenario like this, it is the difference between mobility and being stranded. If anyone on your street owns a vehicle built before approximately 1980, particularly one with a carburetor and mechanical ignition, that vehicle is now extraordinarily valuable. Older vehicles without complex electronic control systems are largely unaffected by electromagnetic disruption. Knowing who has one and where it is matters considerably. Step 6. Check what survived inside your Faraday protection. While you have been handling water, food, cash, and your vehicle, there may be electronics sitting in your home that came through completely intact because they were shielded before the event hit. A Faraday enclosure is a metal container that blocks electromagnetic energy from reaching whatever is inside it. Electromagnetic waves cannot pass through a continuous conductive barrier. If you had electronics stored in a sealed metal container, a metal trash can with a secure lid and insulating lining, a metal ammunition box, or any equivalent enclosure, those devices may have survived. Check that storage now. The single most important item you could retrieve is a battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radio. That device is your primary connection to the outside world. Emergency broadcast frequencies are designed to operate on backup power specifically for collapse scenarios. The information they carry shapes every decision you make going forward. How widespread is the damage? Is government response mobilizing? Are any services operational in your region? If you never built a Faraday enclosure, you can improvise basic protection right now for any electronics that are still functional. Wrap the device in multiple tight layers of aluminum foil with no gaps, then place it inside a metal container. It is not as reliable as a purpose-built solution, but it provides genuine protection against any further electromagnetic interference. Step 7. Medications and medical supplies. This step gets buried in most survival content, and that is a serious mistake. If anyone in your household requires prescription medication, blood pressure treatment, insulin, thyroid support, psychiatric medication, seizure control, or anything else on a regular basis, you have a finite supply right now and zero path to refills. Pharmacies rely on electronic inventory and processing systems. Even a willing pharmacist cannot help you when the supply chain feeding that pharmacy is completely broken. Whatever is in your medicine cabinet is your total supply. Take a full inventory, note quantities precisely, and calculate exactly how many days each person has covered. If someone is critically dependent on a medication with a short remaining supply, locating a medical professional, a pharmacy with manual backup records, or a neighbor with the same prescription becomes one of your highest priorities in the coming days. Inventory your general medical supplies as well. Bandages, antiseptics, pain medication, antidiarrheal treatment, antibiotic ointment, and any first aid tools you have. In a world without functioning emergency services, a minor wound that becomes infected is no longer a minor problem. Your medical supplies are survival infrastructure, not a comfort kit. Treat them accordingly. Step 8. Gather your people. Without working phones, without any form of electronic communication, finding family members who are not home becomes one of the most logistically challenging and emotionally draining parts of the entire crisis. If your household is already together, you have one less urgent problem. But electromagnetic pulses do not wait for convenient timing. Your children might be at school, your partner might be at work across the city, an elderly family member might be alone across town with no way to contact anyone. This is exactly where pre-established meeting plans are worth everything. A specific, easy-to-locate meeting point that every family member already knows. A secondary location in case the first is compromised. A designated out-of-area contact that everyone knows to try reaching if any communication channel somehow survives. If that planning does not exist yet, act anyway. Tell every person currently in your home exactly where the meeting point is. Write it down for them. If family members are out there somewhere, send your most capable available person along the safest direct route toward wherever they most likely are. School, workplace, a known friend's location. Do not sit home waiting and hoping. Go get them. The mental burden of not knowing where your people are is not just emotional. It consumes decision-making capacity that you urgently need for everything else.
Resolving the family situation as rapidly as possible is not optional. It is a hard, operational priority. Part 3.
transitioning from emergency response to sustained survival. Step 9. Full inventory. Know precisely what you have. By this point, several hours have passed. Water is stored, perishable food is managed, cash is located, your vehicle situation is understood, communication is established or in progress, family is accounted for, or people are moving to retrieve them. You are already ahead of the overwhelming majority of people around you. But the nature of the challenge is now shifting. You are no longer in emergency response mode. You are entering sustained survival, and that requires a completely different way of thinking. Sit down and conduct a thorough inventory of all food in your home. Every shelf, every cabinet, every storage space. Be specific. Do not write some rice. Write 4 pounds of white rice. Do not write canned goods. Write 6 cans of black beans, 4 cans of diced tomatoes, 3 cans of tuna. Specificity is not compulsive. It is the foundation of every calculation you will make from this point forward. Identify every cooking method available to you. Without electricity, your kitchen is largely non-functional. What can you actually use? A propane burner with how much fuel remaining, a charcoal grill with how many bags left, a fire pit, a camp stove, a solar cooker. List every option and estimate how long each fuel source will last under regular use. Then do the calculation that nobody wants to do. A typical adult needs roughly 2,000 calories per day under normal resting conditions. Under physical and psychological stress, which is exactly the conditions you are in, that requirement climbs to 2,500 or even 3,000. Multiply your household size by daily caloric need. Divide your total food supply by that number. The result tells you how many days you can sustain your household. Now reduce consumption modestly, not severely. Sudden sharp caloric restriction creates its own set of problems, including reduced mental clarity, physical weakness, and declining morale. But reducing intake by 15 to 20% immediately, while everyone still has enough food that the adjustment feels manageable, can extend your supplies by weeks. Begin rationing now, while it feels like discipline. Do not wait until it feels like desperation. Track daily consumption in writing. Compare actual intake against your projections. That data is how you see a crisis coming before it arrives. Step 10. Water purification is your next long-term problem. Your stored water will run out eventually. You filled everything you could find, and that was the right call, but stored water has a limit, and you need a plan for what comes after. Identify every water source within walking distance of your home. Streams, rivers, ponds, lakes, swimming pools, rainwater collection systems. Pool water contains chemicals but can be made usable through filtering. Rainwater is generally cleaner but still requires treatment. The non-negotiable rule is this: never drink water from any untreated natural source. In a world without functioning water treatment infrastructure, waterborne illness kills more people than violence does in prolonged crises. Cholera, dysentery, and similar diseases are not ancient history. They are active threats the moment treatment infrastructure fails. Your purification methods are boiling, chemical treatment, and filtration. Boiling is the most universally reliable. A rolling boil for at least 1 full minute eliminates virtually all biological threats. Chemical treatment with plain, unscented household bleach works as well. Use 8 drops per gallon and let the water sit for 30 minutes before consuming. Portable backcountry water filters work excellently if you have one. Understanding and being able to execute the boiling method alone puts you ahead of the vast majority of people in your area. Step 11. Harden your home without drawing attention to yourself. Within 24 to 72 hours of a major grid failure, the social environment begins changing in ways that require you to think about security differently. People who were unprepared begin fully processing what happened. Stores that were rushed in the first hours have been emptied, and in that environment, any household that appears to have resources becomes a potential target. This is not a pessimistic view of people. It is a pattern that has appeared consistently throughout every documented prolonged societal disruption in modern history. When people are hungry, frightened, and without any clear path forward, normal social structures erode. Recognizing that reality is not paranoia.
acting on it is preparation. Walk through your home and examine it the way someone looking for a way in.
A standard residential door with a basic deadbolt is a minimal obstacle, not a serious barrier. Longer screws in your strike plates, a door reinforcement bar, dowels and window tracks, heavy furniture positioned against ground floor entry points. These are inexpensive or cost nothing improvements that meaningfully increase the difficulty of forced entry. Equally important is managing what you make visible. In a neighborhood where every house is dark, a lit window is visible from a distance. Keep battery-powered lighting away from windows. Do not cook outdoors where the smell travels. Do not move supplies in and out of your home where people can observe you. Do not discuss what you have with people you do not deeply trust. In a destabilized environment, appearing better resourced than those around you is a liability. Quiet competence is your posture. Step 12. Sanitation. Nobody makes this topic exciting, but it has historically been among the leading causes of death in extended crises, and that demands your full attention. Your toilet stopped flushing when water pressure failed. If you have stored water, you can manually flush by pouring a bucket of water directly into the bowl, but that consumes water you may need for drinking. A more sustainable long-term approach is a designated waste area. If you have a yard, a properly dug pit latrine is your best option. If you are in an urban or suburban setting without that option, a 5-gallon bucket with a lid and heavy-duty liner works well. Add a scoop of kitty litter, sawdust, or agricultural lime after each use to suppress odor and reduce pathogen exposure. Hand washing with soap remains the single most powerful and accessible disease prevention tool you have. If water is limited, use hand sanitizer, but protect your soap supply. People consistently underestimate how valuable soap becomes when medical care is unavailable. Dispose of waste well away from water sources and living areas. This is not a preference, it is a hard requirement. Disease from poor sanitation spreads through a group faster than hunger does, and it is far more difficult to manage once it starts. Part 4. Community and psychology. The part most survival content never covers adequately. Step 13. Build your network carefully and early. Every instinct you have is going to push you toward locking down, trusting nobody, and protecting everything you have. That instinct makes sense. It is also unsustainable over any extended period if taken to its absolute extreme. The consistent finding from research into prolonged grid-down events and societal disruptions is that survival outcomes are not primarily determined by the size of a household stockpile. They're determined by the quality and functionality of the community around that household. Think about the people who are already near you. The retired medical professional down the street has knowledge that no amount of stored supplies can substitute for. The mechanic in your neighborhood can keep a vehicle running using parts salvaged from dead cars. The family that maintains a garden has a source of food that regenerates. The person who hunts or fishes has skills and equipment that become irreplaceable when grocery distribution collapses. None of those resources exist inside your home. All of them exist within a short distance. The question is whether you can organize them before fear makes cooperation impossible. Identify 2 or 3 neighbors you genuinely trust. Have direct, honest conversations within the first day or two, before dynamics have turned adversarial and before fear has fully taken hold. Establish clear terms from the beginning. What does each household contribute? How are shared resources managed and tracked? What are the security arrangements? Who makes decisions and by what process? Voluntary cooperation built on transparent terms is resilient. Arrangements built on resentment or coercion collapse under pressure. Get the terms right at the start. A useful early exercise is mapping the skills in your immediate group. Sit down and figure out what every person actually knows how to do. Who understands water purification beyond the basics? Who has real first aid knowledge? Who can build or repair structures? Who knows food preservation methods like smoking, canning, or salt curing? Practical knowledge that ordinary life never required is suddenly the most valuable resource in the room. Find it, organize it, and put it to work. Step 14. Create daily structure and protect morale. This one sounds simple. It is not optional. Research on survival situations is consistent on this point. People who maintain routine hold together. People who do not fall apart in ways that compromise every other operational priority. When there is no structure, people feel purposeless. Purposelessness in a crisis becomes
Despair leads to conflict, poor decisions, and the slow erosion of everything you built together. Create a daily schedule. It does not need to be rigid, it needs to exist. Assign roles based on what people do well. Rotate security watches so nobody burns out. Set specific times for meals, for water collection, for security checks, for maintenance tasks. Build rest periods in deliberately. Rest is not a luxury in a sustained survival situation, it is a performance requirement. Set small, achievable daily goals. Reinforced a weak door hinge, filtered and stored 8 gallons of water, inventoried the medical supplies, repaired a garden bed. Small completions create a sense of forward momentum, even in the middle of enormous uncertainty. Forward momentum is what sustains morale when morale has no other source. If children are in your group, this step doubles in importance. Children depend on routine even under normal conditions. In a crisis, routine is their primary anchor to safety and normalcy. Give them roles appropriate to their age. Help them feel useful, sorting supplies, assisting with water collection, keeping watch. A child who feels like a contributor feels secure. A child who feels sidelined feels the full weight of the fear around them. Morale is not an abstract concern, it is a direct operational resource. A group with collapsing morale stops maintaining security rotations. They stop tracking food consumption carefully. They stop making sound decisions. They stop functioning as a unit. Protecting morale protects your capability. Step 15. Maintain information gathering and stay situationally aware. Information does not disappear in a grid-down world. It becomes scarcer and more valuable. Your functioning emergency radio is the primary tool for this. Listen to emergency broadcasts at regular intervals throughout the day. The scope of the event, whether government response is mobilizing, whether any infrastructure in your region is still operational, these facts directly shape every strategic decision you make going forward. Talk to people as well. Travelers passing through your area carry first-hand information about conditions beyond your immediate view. Neighbors who have gone further out and returned have real intelligence that you need. Information is a resource, and in a communication blackout environment, it is among the scarcest available. Apply critical thinking to everything you receive. In a crisis environment, rumors travel faster than verified information. Someone will tell you the power is returning tomorrow. Someone else will tell you a neighboring region has been completely destroyed. Weigh every piece of information against what you can independently confirm before making strategic decisions based on it. Keep a written log. Record the date, the source, and the information received. Over days and weeks, patterns emerge from those notes that you cannot reliably hold in memory. Your written record becomes your intelligence picture. Your intelligence picture drives your strategy. That advantage compounds over time. Now, here's the complete sequence, your actionable list from the moment confirmation arrives. 1. Confirm what you are dealing with. Look for the pattern. Dead standalone batteries, dead vehicles across multiple households, dead grid, no weather or infrastructure explanation. 2. Secure water without delay. Fill every available container. You likely have 30 minutes of pipe pressure, possibly less. 3. Manage food immediately. Consume perishables first. Protect your freezer by keeping it closed. Cook what you can now. 4. Gather all physical cash throughout your home. Prioritize small denominations. Keep the money hidden and out of sight. 5. Assess your vehicle before touching the ignition. Disconnect the battery. Consider fuel as a finite and irreplaceable resource. 6. Check your shielded electronics and retrieve your emergency radio. If no pre-built enclosure exists, improvise shielding now for surviving devices. 7. Inventory all medications and medical supplies. Calculate days of supply for every critical medication. Identify gaps immediately. 8. Account for every family member. Go to them physically if necessary. Do not wait and hope. 9. Conduct a complete food and resource inventory. Be specific with quantities. Do the caloric math. Begin modest rationing now. 10. Plan your water purification strategy for the long term. Know your nearby sources and your treatment methods. 11. Harden your home and reduce your visible footprint. Security improvements first, then noise and light discipline. 12. Establish a functional sanitation system before you need it urgently. 13. Build a small, trusted network within the first day or two. Map the skills in your group and organize them. 14. Create daily structure. Assign roles, set schedules, protect morale as an operational priority. 15. Gather information consistently.
Use your radio, talk to people, verify before you act, and keep a written log. 15 steps. A specific, sequential, complete response that takes you from the moment of total confusion to a functional survival posture within the first 24 hours. That is the difference between moving and standing still, between acting and waiting for someone else to fix it. Write this list down. Keep a physical copy somewhere accessible. Share this with people in your life who you would want next to you in a scenario like this. Make sure they understand it before it matters. If this gave you something useful today, hit the like button right now and subscribe to my channel. We cover the scenarios that require real thinking and real preparation, not trends, not theories, practical information for situations that most people never want to seriously consider until they have no other choice. The best moment to prepare was before this conversation. The second best moment is right now. Stop thinking about it. Start doing it.